Hello, you beautiful people. This is UncleCode Review, another students and another code review. Hello, everyone. Hello, Ash. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
Hello,
How are you?
good. Hi, Mason.
How about you guys?
Great.
Good.
Perfecto, perfecto. So, Ash, introduce today student.
All right, so today we're gonna have one of our young coders. His name is Siddesh. He's
Oh.
8 years old, and interestingly, he just joined exactly like last year, 1 year ago. So he's done fully online classes in Kidocode.
Wow,
Yes.
interesting. 1 year.
The,
Wow.
I remember back in time was 2015 when we were talking about the online education for kids at this age, 8 years old, and learning things. Most of parents were doubtful that is it possible at all? And the kid needs continuous observation. Somebody need to push them to go there. But these are the proof of concepts. Of course, it was a very difficult time during this COVID, but now at least we have the proof of concept. It's possible. Why not using that more and more? Of course, physical is important, but now we have a lot of good examples that the kids are responsible, taking it seriously, and doing amazing jobs.
I think you're right. You're truly right. Not only parents, even convincing people about the business and everything else that this
Yeah,
is a
indeed.
possible idea that they can go more than just like a little bit of extra activities. That's a very important things. Even there are a few things. One is if children can learn coding or that kind of things. If children should learn coding, if my child doesn't want to go be a computer programmer, if I believe that children can learn codings and if you convince me that it's good for their future, but how far they can go. And you see that there are levels of arguments and discussion to break through adult doubts. That's what we face in all these 5 years. So there are layers of doubt, and to me, all these 5 years, all these layers broken. It means when someone asks me how far they can go, I'm just going to say, do you understand at the age 15, 16, they can really build an application?
Indeed.
How far?
Yeah.
I don't understand how far. Because now at age 21, 22, you can have a job in Upwork.com and get 1,000 to 2,000 US dollars. We're working ourselves in Kidocode. We're working with some 20 to 23 years old around the world, and that means how far. And it's so clear that it doesn't matter you want to become a programmer or not. It really makes you a different person. The way you solve problem, the way you fix your career will be very, very different, very smart, very efficient, very smart. And I
Exactly.
think the first doubt, of course, there's no point to talk about it if kid they can learn. So let us start from this kid. So I'm going to share my screen. You can see it now.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Anything, Mason, before I run the code?
No, that's nice. Let's go. It's received some numbers and doing this and that.
Okay. I'm going to start to run the code first because I see that there is a kind of input here. That means in the line number 6, I see that there is an input, and then so that's why I shared the screen that you guys can see. So let's run the code. Let's see what's going to happen. So it's going to ask me something that I don't know what is that. It's a number, so I'm going to put 10, and I'm going to run it. Okay. That's
Very beautiful.
clear. Now that's very clear that we're talking about GeoFlower, but this time we're asking user how many flower you want, how many scores you want. In this case, he's working the scores because I can see that he's doing the score part. So let me go through the code and then see what I'm going to do here, things I'm going to bring to change this code. In this line, he's asking the number, so that's really cool. And what I like about what he has done here is the kind of function that he created, and then and mapping. You see, Maysam. You see, I haven't. I mean, in previous sessions, I haven't seen this. That he mapped the shape of the polygon to the number of colors in the list of color box.
Exactly.
That's really interesting because color box is 4. Here you can write like range 4 and then use a number like a C or index, and then through the index refer back to the list. But the way you did it is very, very efficient. Well done. I really like it what you've done here, because you picked up each color. So you want to use the color. So why not use the list as a kind of iterator, which typically list is the iterator, the one that you iterate through it, and then you use the variable of the count as a color. So it's better you make it
Yeah,
color.
it would make a better sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna make it color here, and then the length, which is coming from function, and the 90 degree. So that's really interesting, and that's the meaning of the score and all good. Of course, maybe you can also get the color box from users, and you have a little bit a more kind of generalized version of the score that get the color box from here. So, something like that. If I'm gonna just put it here, and then put like a kind of 10, so I'm gonna get this one. So this is default value for color box. You can do such a things in Python. That but I can override it. Like for example, I can just come down here, and when I call the function score here, and then let's say I want to make it like
Um,
a lot green, a little bit of more green, for example. So it's getting more green. There's no any kind of yellow in there. So that means you can override the color within the function. So that's really interesting, very nice. And let me see if you can do a lot of things stuff here. You can go and bring the random, for example, and then here just try to bring the random through. If you remember in Python, let me hide this and then share this screen. Okay, if I just come here and write print random dot shuffle, for example, 1 2 3, and I run this one, I mean like equal by 1 2 3, so then print the. So when I do that, you see I will get a randomized. I shuffle the list. So you can have this kind of fun with the random. That means you can create a list of colors and then shuffle them, and then pass them to your functions, because it's variable. So then you can do such a kind of things. Let's say initial colors. So that's what I'm gonna do. And then here, let's say I'm gonna call it random dot shuffle the initial colors, and here I'm going to pass initial colors. So then what going to happen is I'm going to get different orders. You can't find any order. You see that it's going to kind of a little bit of the randomness in your code, but because now I can have this kind of color box, so I can do such kind of things, and your function looks more focused on the score itself, okay, and more parameters into this. Anyway, I suggest you to go further and then try to change the score to a polygon that get the number of sides. And one of the things that polygon does with the size number 4 will be the score. So it's a little bit of kind of more general version of the functions. Well done, very good. I really like the way
very good.
Yeah.
it's the color box. We're gonna go for the second code. Okay, we have some empty lines to remove them. And then I'm gonna run it. Mark. What's happened to Tom? Okay. Okay, cool. Here again, you created a nice function, and I see more parameters this time. I see the side. I guess this is the length. Yes, it's good to use meaningful name for your variable. Do not forget. And then color, and then this is the width. So, guys, when you write a code, definitely always do not have any concern to choose big names or good names, meaningful names, because first of all, now these days when we code, autocomplete or intelligence menu help us to write fast. That's one thing. Number two is to make the code beautiful. It looks like you're reading a good book. Just like that, it means you write. Let's say you are in charge to write Harry Potter book. You're not gonna write H told B to go and see the C. It's not gonna work at all like that. Only you can read that book. How can I know you? Yeah, I know H must probably can be Harry Potter, but it's not gonna be like that. So it's good to write it down. But then when we finish our code and we want to deploy that means bring it out, like shipping, releasing in the kind of industrial products. There are some tools that they're minified and the obscure our code actually by changing all the variables to the small variables, and they maintain it. Or nobody can read that code, but the size of the code will be really small, and that is good for
Is,
storage, containing
is
this
that called uglify?
uglify is one of the things. Yes, uglify is one of the things. Now it's a mix of different things. It's minification, uglify, yes, and we're gonna do that. That's like nice. So here, we're focusing on the square, cool, and then forward left. This is the square part. So basically, you set the color, and then you do it. That's really nice. Very good. Well done. I really like your style, and that's really cool. And you're 8 years old, or now you're 9 years old, and so I guess soon will be your is when is his birthday is close?
Yeah, it's actually less than 1 month from now.
Wow, so happy birthday. That's amazing. See, 1 year ago you didn't know anything about coding, and after 1 year you're writing code and function in Python, and that's best gift that parents gave you last year. And then you can really do interesting stuff. So good job to you and your parent. And
Looking forward to see the codes in JavaScript and the games.
Yeah, exactly. Especially the game development. New courses is coming. And one thing just I can give here is not a kind of that much comments. It's just sort of cool things to play around with it. You know what? When you guys can do that for anything actually. Let's enhance mark ability. It's what I'm trying to say. It's a kind of very professional topic in programming, but I'll do it in a very simple way. Okay, very simple way. So I can write mark dot. What mark does? Mark does speed, width, color. You pass a parameter like kind of, or for example, you call shape functions and you pass turtle. So what it does, this shape internally adjusts some changes in the mark a turtle, change something, change the color, for example. And then later when you use mark, you see the impact. So some of these functions, they change the state of the mark, like a speed, for example, like the width. So you don't see any change immediately when you call the width, unless you go and use the forward or backward, then you see the change. Some of these functions instantly, they do something, like this forward. You call it, it does something. It doesn't make any change in the mark. It means before this line and after this line, your mark is the same mark. But for the width, you are changing the mark. Before this line and after this line, we have two different marks. Now we have a mark that is thicker, but or pen up, pen down also change the mark itself. So some of functions change the objects, the state of the objects, which is mark in this example. But some function, no. For example, a score is a kind of function that doesn't make any change in mark. So what I can do, I can come and create a new function or method for mark. And I write this, maybe I want to call it SQ, because you put SCW, so I'm going to call it. Or, what still is that? What is in my clipboard? So, and then when you do that, looks like mark turtle has this function. So looks like when you use a pen down or pen up, so you can do such a kind of thing. And then when you run it, it works. It looks
this is cool.
This is very cool.
Yeah.
And you may want to do multiple name. You want to write even like a FD, like a forward, right? So you can have a score and then do such a kind of thing. So that's really cool. This is one way that you extend your total object. And then but this is the most simple form that I can talk about it. This topic is very complicated topic and very advanced and very useful, and it's so practical in dynamic programming languages like Python, like JavaScript, and also in non-dynamic like like C#, Java. Now you can do such a kind of thing. They're very useful. They are the way that you create your own turtle or with the better stuff. So
that's cool.
That's all perfect.
All
I think very good. Well down. Show his image again one more time. Great. Fantastic. Very good. Siddesh, amazing. So back to us now. Okay, well done, Siddesh. It was great. I'm very happy. Really so nice. I see less than a year you are doing all this kind of stuff. It's very beautiful. And I can see your speeding up your learning. And what else you can do? That's amazing. Very good. So we're going to end up, I'm going to tell you something very important because your code is nice. And also your turtle name is Mark. Mark and Siddesh. Maybe you can use this as a Siddesh and Mark, maybe for your future company name.
It's Mark 1. The name of one of the very early computer was Mark 1.
Yes, true. The mainframe, Mark 1, true. And then maybe one of the future mainframe will be Siddesh 1, Siddesh 2. You know.
Yeah, let's see.
Or you create your own programming language, Siddesh. Who knows? You can do that. It's fun. And actually, it's when you go to University for Computer Science, they teach you how to do that. But before that, with the speed that you are learning, I think by a few years later, you can go through some YouTube channels and learn and create your own.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah,
the way
that's
that you want
true.
it. Great. So we're going to tell you something very important, and that is you are programmer.
Good job.